parenting is really about understanding yourself. Like your children will do all the things to help you get to your level of parenting because they know you so well that they will find, and they've been studying you, they've been watching you.
What's up?
What's up?
Cole, we are
What's
back
going on?
at it again. Welcome to another podcast, another edition of the Fatherhood podcast with Sean and Cole.
Bruh, listen.
And no George.
No George.
George will be back next week. George had a heavy caseload. Yo, people need help, man.
Listen.
People need help.
And I'm and again, that just goes to what we've been talking about, man. This work-life balance and the fact that people need help, And so how are we taking care of our first responders?
Yo,
you know what I'm saying? He's the first responder.
Yo, George, listen.
He's the first responder, bro.
George has been. George and I normally at one point we get the family together. We'll meet at least once a week for just like a relax. We'll go, I'll grab something to eat and just chill.
Okay.
Bro.
Okay.
For the last 2 months, no George. Yo, life. You know what I mean? Like people been needing his help, and I'm like, yo, you gotta go serve the people, man. Go do what you do. It is what it is. So I'm gonna drag him out of hibernation where he needs to be back here in the building with us. But before you make your statement, I do, Cole, the way you are dressed right now.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I wouldn't be surprised, and I'm not asking you to do anything, but right now you look like you have on like you're fronting, like you got on a collared shirt and a tie, but below you sitting down in your drawers. I don't need you to prove a point. I don't need you to prove a point. No points to be proven. But bro, yes, that's the energy. It's like, yo, it's like, is he really suited and booted up like that, or is he just like giving that?
Man, I still got the watch on. That means I still got the shoes, the socks, and the pants still on, man. I came in running.
I Cole. Hey,
still on,
listen, I'm not even ask.
I'm just telling you. I'm just telling you I'm just telling you, bro.
I'm gonna take it. I'll take your word for it. Yeah, I think you sit in boxer briefs, but it's all good.
No way.
Yo, people was doing that, bro. People was doing that during COVID. They would be dressed up here.
Bro, I was definitely in my drawers through most of my meetings. One time I had a whole suit jacket on.
I want to know, is the audience, listen, let me know, were y'all guilty of that too? Like during COVID, were you guys like going to your Zoom meetings then having on like some inappropriateness or not, let's just say not fully clothed below the Zoom area?
I'm sure.
But you say you sure?
I'm sure people was chilling in PJs. They was chilling, man. No socks on, just chilling. No lotion on the legs, just straight ash.
Well, I don't put lotion on that much, so I'm still. But actually, I've been putting it on. Like, no, like that's not official. Like, that's not a. I have to. It's an event, bro. Like, it's an event if I put lotion on. Like, my family get excited. Like, where you going? Like, what's good? I'm the dude that I will only lotion what you can possibly see. That's it. I'm that guy.
Oh wow!
I will lotion what you can see. So, but I've been better. And then the one lotion I just bought, bro, my wife been killing me. Right, like today was the first time she was like, "All right, it stinks." Like, y'all put this lotion To me, it smells good. It's like mango and cucumber with like some hemp. She was like, "Boo,
It's the
that doesn't mix well."
it's the hemp. It don't mix.
Oh, is it the hemp?
It's gotta be. You miss what is it? Mango, hemp, and what?
Cucumber.
Yeah, I don't know. Where you get it from, bro?
See, you gonna judge?
I'm not judging. I don't judge. I wear secret.
Okay.
I wear secret, bro.
You should have kept that a secret.
I like smelling pottery fresh.
Yeah. No, I got it from Walmart, bro, but it was like in the branded section.
Oh, that's cool. So what's Walmart brand? Value?
Yeah, it's not value. It's
Okay.
like something. But and it cost a couple dollars. So I was like, yo, this must be really good. And I'm like, I don't ever wear lotion. I gave my son the last little bit that I did because he liked the Dove. So I can have a bottle of lotion. It'll last me all year.
That's wild.
Did you
That's
say that's
wild.
wild?
Yeah, that's wild. So that means your socks be like shredded.
Wait. Oh, you talking about putting
You don't
lotion
put
on your
lotion?
feet?
You don't put lotion on your feet, bro?
No.
Yeah, that's wild.
Bro, no,
Yeah.
man,
But that's a whole. So listen, bro. We didn't got all the way off topic, bro. Listen.
you're definitely in my hygiene area, like just. Hey, I was married now, so you know what I
Yeah,
mean.
I guess. You good, bro. You good. So listen, man. I got something I want to just talk a little bit about, man. I want to talk a little bit about work life balance, especially when you are caring for kids that are on that play after school sports and involved in after school activities. I'm a former dad of kids with activities and shuffling around and moving around and the stress of all of it and trying to make sure I get everybody's schedule down and picking everybody up or staying later than I want to and all of those things. So I'm really curious, man, how because my kids are adults, but your kids are involved in sports, and I often hear you talk about it a lot, right? And all the places that you guys have to go and where you travel. I'm just curious to know, man, how do you and how does your family balance, having kids that play sports? I mean, you're author. I mean, you've got a lot of hats you wear. So I'm really curious about how do you navigate all that?
Man, a calendar.
Okay, like a
That
real calendar.
like a real calendar. That's the biggest thing. Like honestly, I give you. Man, my head is way too close to the top.
Yeah, I know what you was doing.
Yeah, audience. I mean, cameraman, could you push that back, please? I'm talking to
Yeah,
the cameraman. All right.
they had you like wow.
Yeah, I'm the cameraman.
Oh, that was you.
That was me. Yeah. So don't worry about it. Stay focused. But no, like real talk. Like even this weekend, right? So there's this big huge event here in Flint that
Okay.
that my organization need to be at, right? Positionally, need to be at that event. And then my son has two soccer games, right? So the event is at 12, setup is at 9. His game is at 1 and 7. And then my wife, grandmother turns 90, she turned 95 or 96, somewhere around there. And she has a birthday party this weekend. And then my cousin, who you met, has
Yeah.
an event for his organization from 5 to 9, right? And so that is our weekend, right? And so, like, I'm listening to all of those things.
Yep.
The most important thing on there is my son's 1 o'clock and 7 o'clock game. And so now I come up with a plan and a strategy on
Okay.
how the other things can fit in with his game.
Wow. Wow. And I'm not saying wow like I can't believe that. I'm just one that's a big weekend, right? And most parents in my mind prioritize their kids. Like this is what we're gonna do. Um, but what happens when you have a kiddo that says, "Okay, I want to play this, but I don't want to play that anymore, and I want to do this"?
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
how do you how do y'all balance that?
Yeah. So, so the biggest things. So let me just say. Let me backtrack. Like with the weekend, like the other things are important. But what I will say is that we involved dad has been blessed to be able to hire some additional people. So
Okay.
so I am gonna go that early morning, but I'm gonna leave early. So I'm gonna go support my
Okay.
team at the event. But
Gotcha.
they know that my family stuff is important. So I'm going with my
Yeah.
son, right? But this
Gotcha.
is the thing. The person who's going to be at the event, family is important to them, and they know family is important to us. So that individual is going to bring his children with him to the event,
Wow.
right? So because we want to reflect what we stand for, involved
Yeah.
dads.
Yeah.
So this dad will be manning the table with his sons with him, right?
Wow.
During this event. So I'm not going to require him to stay there all day. But
Yeah.
my thing is like, hey, just stay there for a good portion.
Yeah.
Yo, you out. You do your thing, right? Because I trust God that God will send in the resources. God will connect us with the right people. We will meet with the persons or the people that we need to meet while we're
Yeah.
there, right?
Yeah.
From that standpoint. Um, so going back to your other question, um, quitting in my house is not an option, and and I'm quite sure that's like that in many people homes, right? But that is
Yeah.
really big for us, particularly me. Why? Because I quit a lot when I was younger, and I
Okay.
knew how quitting led to a behavior and a way of life that made my growing into adulthood, into manhood, I struggled in areas because it was easy for me to quit. And
Yeah.
so what we do when our kids want to pivot or whatever the case, um, we talk about it, right, and have them come to that conclusion. Then it's like afterwards we navigate it. But I've been blessed, man, where my kids haven't, right? They've tried many things, and I'm a realist with mine, right?
Okay.
So I would be the one that's like, you know what, we need to pivot.
Okay.
Unless if you really like this because you like it, you enjoy it, let's rock out.
Right.
However, we're not going to invest a whole lot in it because this is not a smart investment.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
This is not your wheelhouse. The good Lord did not put his blessing in this area, right? So we're not going to invest in
Yeah.
basketball. We can like
Yeah.
basketball. We go play out basketball together as a family. So my daughter,
Yeah.
she's a soccer player. Like that's her lane. She
Okay.
likes doing beautician stuff like nails and all that. So I'm going to invest in those areas. She wanted to play
Gotcha.
basketball this year. She stuck. But we was at every game
I got
and
you.
we laughed.
Yeah.
Right? We laughed. We was there. We was supportive. We encouraged her. We was out shooting with her. Like, let's get a little bit better so you can at least enjoy
Yeah.
this.
Okay.
And then afterwards, like, yo, you going back out this year? She like, nah, I'm straight. So
Yeah.
that's our
That's
philosophy,
good.
bro.
No, and I only asked that question too because I remember being a sports dad and showing up and on the single side of that. So not necessarily having a network, not necessarily having a solid calendar because I'm running with them. And I got to just thinking to myself, how many single parents are out there doing this,
Yeah,
and maybe even feeling guilty when they can't show up, right?
for
And
real.
because I think there's a lot of guilt that comes when you have a kid in a sport, but you also have to be the one that's providing all of the things because you are a single parent doing it, and somebody loses
Yeah.
when can't always be there,
Hey,
and so I remember that. I remember that.
that's funny you say that. You made me think about something. Like my daughter, who you met, my middle daughter,
Yeah,
right? She's
yeah,
more introverted.
yeah.
She's definitely not like gonna be. She's more expressive now since she's been older.
Okay.
But I remember when she graduated from elementary school, bro. She was going into middle school. So she was leaving the fifth grade, going into the sixth,
Okay.
and they was doing their Mackinac Island trip. right?
Mm.
And this is when I was working and I couldn't get off, and my wife was working, and we probably could have navigated, but neither one of us was really gung ho about going to up
Right.
north, right? And so we asked her, we was like, hey, do you want us to go? Da da da. And she was like, no, it's okay, right? She just like assured us, like, no, it's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
She went on this trip, bro. That's when she was 11. Yeah, she was 11. So here she is 15, and we talked when Levi was going on his Mackinac trip, and I was contemplating, but it was gonna be me or her, and so I
Yeah.
wound up doing it. And don't you know, my
Mhm.
Shelby
Yep.
finally came out and said that she was hurt. She
Wow.
really wished we were there because she said I saw all the other kids and the woman and the young friend that she was cool with. She roomed with them, and she had her mother there. And she said, I just felt like an outsider. She's like, the two girls I hung with, their moms was there, and here I go, I'm by myself. And she
Mm.
was just like, and she never said anything about it. So she waits till she's
Yeah.
15 years old to say
Yep.
that she has it.
Yeah.
And so I tell parents all the time, like, listen, you do the best that
Good.
you know how to do. I don't care
Yep.
how dope you are, but your
Yep.
kids are gonna come back and say, you remember this, or you may not remember, but when this happened, that hurt me. And so I had to
Yeah.
apologize and explain to her why
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
took place. What's up, Father's Heart podcast family? Yeah, we have sponsorships now, and this week's sponsor is none other than Involved Dad. So listen up, fathers. Are you looking for a deeper understanding to understand fatherhood and make a positive impact in your children and families' lives? Look no further than Involved Dad, right? Where we create strong fathers through fatherhood engagement, right? It's extremely important for children to have fathers that are not only showing up, but they are showing out, that they are fully invested, they are fully engaged. So this week's sponsor is an agency, man, that knows the ins and out of fatherhood and know how to strengthen families, know how to fill the gaps and connect families to the right resources so they can live their best lives and become more and more successful. So listen, if you need assistance, if you know someone who need help on fathering, on parenting, co-parenting, or a father that is just struggling, right? That he does not know how and what to do about his next move because this game that we call this life that we live, sometime, man, is like a game of chess, right? Like knowing your next move. And at Involved Dad, what we do, we help fathers make their next best move. So reach out to us, right? The number is 313-757-1388, and you can find us on the web as well, and that is involveddad.org. No S, because a lot of people put involved dads, although we want involved dads, but it's involveddad.org. So yes, listen, don't be average. You might as well be elite in your parenting and in fatherhood. Let's get it.
Yeah.
It's
No,
funny.
that's good. That's good because I do believe that that's true because I've had lived experience of my sons coming back and said, "Dad, we need to talk," and sit me down and say, "Hey, bro, you thought you was doing this."
Really? Do you have
Oh man,
anything that you can share? Like, do you
yeah.
have any
Well,
story that you can share?
I just think the thing that really echoed and stuck with me is when my son came to me and one of the things I used to say to him, I'm like, man, I'm trying to communicate with you. You never you when you get upset, you just stop talking. I mean, Nate, let's figure that out. You know what he said to me? He said, Dad, how you trying to figure out something you ain't figured out for yourself? I learned that from you. Yeah, that's what he told me. He said, how you trying to figure out something about me that you haven't learned within yourself, Dad? I'm I learned this behavior from you. When you get upset, you shut completely down. And everybody in the house is running around trying to make you better.
Wow.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Yeah, and so I had to eat that. But at first, I wasn't trying to eat that. I was like, I went straight into defense mode and I went straight into my parenting narrative. And I'm like, yo, don't talk to me like that. I'm grown. This is my house. All the stuff I do and have done for y'all. What you talking about? I had a reason to be upset. Like that was all the stuff that, we tend to do. But then once I really sat with that, I was like, oh. And you know what else he reminded me of? He was like, Dad, you always used to say this. You could tell me anything. Don't I would say to them, yo, listen, if you got something going on, talk to me. And here's the thing. Don't worry about my feelings. I'm in control of my feelings. So you don't have to worry about not telling me nothing because you want to hurt my feelings or don't want to hurt my feelings. I'm in control of that. And he said to me again, he's like, another time, he's like, Dad, you used to say that a whole lot. Guess what? We learned we really couldn't tell you a whole lot because you couldn't handle the small stuff. You would blow up about us not taking out the trash. You would blow up about us forgetting to do the homework and we struggling in our class. You would get upset about skipping school. So there was no way we could tell you the real stuff that we was dealing with and facing because you couldn't handle the small stuff, man. I'm looking like,
Wow.
yeah, man. That's that, and so that's when I started recognizing. I was like, oh, parenting is really about understanding yourself. Like your children will do all the things to help you get to your level of parenting because they know you so well that they will find and they've been studying you, they've been watching you. And so when he told me that, I was like, what do you say?
Yeah, you couldn't say anything. You had to.
I
You
couldn't
said
say
you had to
nothing.
eat it. You said
I
you
had
had
to
to
eat
eat
that.
it.
And I had to apologize. And I grew up under the umbrella, adults don't apologize. Hey, suck it up. Get over that. You know what I'm saying? But I'm like, I gotta apologize. And another thing I think my sons helped me understand in this stuff, man, is they really helped me understand that it's about relationships. What do you do in a romantic relationship? Well, you spend quality time with this person if you really want a relationship with them. You compromise when you really want a relationship with them. You apologize when you want and you're in a loving relationship with someone. You do stuff that you may not really want to do but it's important to that partner that you're with. And so they really help me see the parallelism between being in a loving relationship and I'm also in a loving relationship with my kids. And so, you can't put your best foot forward when you go on trying to build this relationship with this person and you're not willing to do that same thing for me as
That's
your child.
good.
Yeah, man. And so I'm looking back now as a parent of a 26-year-old and a 28-year-old and a 29-year-old and a 25-year-old, and it's like, oh, I get it now.
Wow, that's deep, bro. That's
Yeah,
deep, man. That's
get it
deep,
now.
bro. I
Get it
tell
now.
you, man, like when the communication is key, man, and people throw that
Oh,
around, but I tell you, man, like for real, like it's key because I just think about like where my wife and I used to be and where we are now, right? Like, bro, I could walk around this house for days, if not weeks, in my shell, right? In my
man.
shell, in my feelings, like, yo, I ain't talking. I don't got nothing to say to you, right? And be
Mhm.
straight. And I knew that would eat her alive because she wanted to communicate. So I'm
Yeah.
hunkering down even more, digging in, not talking. Right.
Yeah.
And I wasn't going to go in the community or like outside and front like everything is Gucci because I go outside and I'm quiet or whatever the case. Like
Yeah.
they knew something was popping. Right. So what
Man.
happened, man, when we went through some of our darkest times, but when we came through that, one of the biggest things, man, that we won at was our relationship, like and communicating, bro. Because now, like we, like, was like 2 weeks ago, she had said something to me, and I can't even remember, but she said something to me, and I responded to her short, right?
Mhm.
Because I'm like I'm the type I don't want to go back and forth. We go back
Yeah.
3 times as an argument, right? So I'm just
Yeah.
like in my head. So I'm like I don't feel like going back and forth. So I gave her an answer, right? But
Okay.
the way it was playing out in my head, it wasn't like I was being rude and disrespectful, especially in front of the kids, right?
Okay.
And so the kids was there, and it was over. And so like the next day, I'm sitting there, I'm flirting with her, and like her energy was like
Yeah.
not there, right? And I'm
Right.
like, I'm like, yo, like, what's popping? And she was like, what you said to me last night, right? And
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh. And immediately, bro, like before I would have shut down, I would have twisted it, I would have blamed it on her. Well, she did this, you said that, you all of that. And immediately I'm like, hold up. First of all, let me tell you something. I would never intentionally disrespect you, make you feel small, through the whole thing in front of the kids,
Yeah.
all like, yo, you know me. So that's first off, right? And then next I came back with like what my intent was. And if that didn't come across, shame on me. Right.
Yeah.
But the biggest thing, the growth was, is that we were able to get right at it and deal with the problem. Whereas
Yeah.
before, man, it will linger
Yeah.
for weeks at a time, man, and it would really allow the enemy to set up a wedge between me and my better half, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that was the thing of communicating that I do with my children, the whole nine, man. I make it. I am very intentional
Yeah.
about communicating, even though it may be uncomfortable.
Yeah. Whew.
Yeah,
Yeah. We can't avoid that.
yeah.
That. Yeah. Yeah.
And as much as I like to communicate, people know I like to talk. But when it come
Yeah.
about those deep things, I try.
Whew.
My thing is like
Man.
I want to avoid it at all costs
Yeah. Yeah. I'm big on that. I'm like, oh no, no, we I don't got to do that.
because
But
I
the
want to
truth
be in
is, yeah.
harmony, right? And I had to reprogram myself, man, because
Yeah.
for her, going back and forth, like, and she like, yo, we having a conversation, we
Yeah.
communicating. Me, I'm like, no, we not. We arguing. You said red, I said black. You said red, I said black. You
Yeah.
said red, I said, you know what? It's red. Now
Whew.
she like, but you said it was black. Listen, I still think it's black, but
Yeah.
it's red. Because in my head, I'm like, yo, we're not going anywhere with this. Where's it going? And so in her mind, it's like, yo, we're communicating to get to an agreement, to even disagree, but we need to learn how to communicate, right?
Yeah.
And not take it personal. With me, I'm like, it was personal. I'm like, yo, you rejecting, you not listening to me, the whole nine. So I had to work on me
Yeah.
in that.
Well, it's funny how we become adults raising children,
Mm-hmm.
only to still have our children tap into the children that's in us that we have not healed from. You know what I'm saying? So
Yes,
it's so
bro.
crazy how our children can trigger the children inside of us, and then all of a sudden we're mirroring what our kids are doing. And so I think that's been really key for me to remember, and just think about like a lot of this when they say parenting is about when you have kids, it's about your kids. I'm like, man, parenting is about parents,
Yeah,
and sharing that experience with your children. So
yeah.
I really had to re-examine this whole concept. What I have to do and pour into all of my kids, and no, man, it's a balance.
Yeah.
You definitely have to pour in yourself. So
Yeah.
that's
Oh, absolutely.
so
Especially
this
my
idea.
oldest. My
Oh
oldest is
yeah,
just like me. She's just, bro. She's just like right now. I know something bothering her. Right? She came in
yeah,
from work, so she so me, so
yeah,
me. So I'm like, okay. So when I get off the podcast, I'm gonna have to go up there and
yeah,
holler
man.
because I know how she navigates. So I'm like, yeah, that's me. My oldest and my youngest, straight me. You know what I mean? If you know anything about the disc, they both high
Yeah,
eyes, right? So the high eyes get offended, get in their feelings, feel rejected, taking it
yeah, man.
personal. So something happened where she feeling like something was personal, and I got a little bit out of her, and she was like, "Well,
Okay.
mommy woke me up, fussing at me." Well, see, that's all she sees is mommy fussing at me.
Yeah,
But my thing
yeah,
is like, what did you do
yeah,
to have her to do that? Because I know your mom. Same thing. When my wife used to be like, "Did you pay the bill?"
yeah.
And I used to get pissed, like, "Why are you asking me?"
Of
Because I have
course I
a history of
right.
not paying the bill. So she didn't have to ask you, Sean, if you would have just
Yeah,
did what you're supposed to do,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
So now
yeah.
guess who don't pay any bills? That's not my role, bro. It's not my role.
I love it. I
Yo,
love it.
yo,
I love it.
I'm a suit. I use my superpower and I stay in my lane, bro.
Yeah.
She has her superpower. She's organized. She's structured. She's systematic. The whole nine. I'm
Man.
getting better. Where's my receipts? Right here, ma'am.
Yep. That's it. She keeps it afloat.
Communication, bro.
That's key. That's key. That's
I have
key.
one last question before we get out of
Go
here.
for it, brother. Go for it.
Because you mentioned um, about you as a single father, was running the kids around and all that type of stuff.
Yeah.
Personally, did it feel like a badge of honor um, being a single dad, knowing that the narrative is single moms, and here you were a single black dad raising sons? Did it tap into did
I
it give
can
you a sense of pride, or did you feel like real big when you walked in the room, or what? I'm just curious, like what was going through Cole's head during some
yeah,
processes?
I could tell you exactly. I in the earlier stages, man, I was, you couldn't tell me nothing. And part of why you couldn't tell me anything is that I, for some apparent reason, a man with a child seemed foreign in a lot of ways. So they romanticized it. It became we became almost objectified. Like, oh my God, you raising your son? Like it became this whole thing of like objectifying the idea that a man could do it. And so I think it was at first it was fun, but then I found myself in a lot of spaces where that was the topic. Or it would be like, so why you not married? What's wrong with you? Right? So now it went into like now, and these are things you would not say sometimes to a single mom. You wouldn't say a mom, oh my, you would never say why you don't have a husband and you're raising a child without a husband. What's going on with you? You know what I'm saying? So there were all of these gender things thrown at me that I didn't quite understand and couldn't not necessarily decipher. But I think that there was some stuff going on. But for a minute, man, I was like, "Hey, we about to go to the park. Let's go to the store." Because I already knew once I dressed him up and when I got dressed, we was about to get all the attention. You know what I'm saying? So it was like having a puppy.
Yes.
They was just kind of pumping the foot. They was everywhere. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, ooh. And over time, I was like, oh yeah, this ain't a good thing. This not a good thing. But yeah, in the beginning, oh yeah, it was amazing because he was
Yeah.
just a little ugly thing, and everybody wanted him, and
Yes.
and I had him, and I could share him with people, and they was just like all over him. But over time, I was like, oh yeah, man, this is a bigger issue because what you're really saying is that we're invisible, and so I'm like, nah, brothers raising children are not invisible. We are present. You just choose not to see us,
Mm.
um, or you're not giving us opportunities to be seen. So no, and it would be things like I would hear people say, "Oh, so you not babysitting?" I was like, "No, man, this is my son. What you mean babysitting?" And so there was this idea that if he was with me, it was only because I was babysitting.
Like mom
And
without
what
some.
I did do, bro, I'm gonna tell you what I did do. I played into the single dad, single dad narrative. Like, oh, I'm a single dad. Oh, I'm a single dad. So you gonna know I'm a single dad. I'm doing this on my own.
Yeah.
And it became this whole thing where I was like, oh, because now people are like, oh, you a single father? What happened to the mom? And now there's this narrative that I'm forming and pulling together, and it was what I found myself, and so I was able to connect with single mothers because I was like, "Yo, we got to stop doing that." I'm not a single father. I have a whole community of people that are supporting me as a dad, navigating my son. But it can be very romanticized when you say you're a single parent because people have this level of sympathy or empathy. I'm not really quite sure which one it is around being a single parent, and so I get it. I absolutely get it. It's very hard work. Yeah, it's the hardest thing I've ever done in my entire life. But I will tell you, man, it was, yeah, there's this thing that we have about single parents, and I bought into it, and I was selling it too. I was,
You
bro.
sold it too. I
I
appreciate your
was selling it.
honesty, man. I
I was selling
appreciate
it.
it. Let me tell you something. If I was a single dad, I would have sold it too.
Yeah,
Me
yeah,
knowing me, I know I would have sold it.
bro.
I would have
It's
definitely
part
had
of
the
the
matching
world.
outfits. I would have had the matching
We,
outfit.
bro,
I would have
we,
had t-shirts. Single
yeah.
dads are dope, right? Single dads are dope too, right? Oh my gosh.
A whole brand, man.
A
They was
whole
man,
brand for it. Man,
whole
Cole, this is
brand.
good, man.
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah,
you did have a legit or not legit because you mentioned the t-shirt. I want
yeah,
you. What's the legit
yeah,
or not
man.
legit?
Well, I just think, is it legit or not legit for a man to want a T-shirt that actually properly fits his body, right? And so I don't know about you, but I have had experiences with a host of nonprofits, and everybody's giving away their T-shirts. And I got a hold of your T-shirt, man, and it fit me like glue, like you, like your that shirt fit you like glue, like your whole arm, yeah, yeah,
You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
yeah.
I'm just saying, you know what I mean? And like it
So
shows the shoulders, like it shows,
yeah.
you know what I mean, all of that. You know what I mean?
So is it legit or not legit for a man to want to wear shirts or to have a fashion in which he shows off his
Me
his
personally,
body?
I think is very legit. And the reason why I chose these type of t-shirts because of the simple fact and reason that you just mentioned is that you go to events or you buy t-shirt, even some brands, right,
Yeah,
will have t-shirts that's nice, but around the sleeve is real wide. You
yeah,
know what I mean? This is a little tighter, but it's just like blah. It's just one. It's
yeah,
just shirt, right? And then the
yeah,
sleeve
yeah,
is just shirt. And it's just like, yo, all I'm gonna do in this is just clean. Like I'll
yeah,
represent
yeah,
you at the crib when I'm working in my yard. You
yeah,
know what I mean? But if I buy a shirt, I do want it to be form fitting. It doesn't have to be how the women wear with their leggings
yeah,
and all of that,
yeah,
but
yeah,
it definitely needs to fit. So I think
yeah,
you are absolutely correct. I say it is legit, and it is not legit for all of you agencies just to buy just a straight up Russell and put
yeah.
your
Put your
agency on it and just
yeah,
throw it out there. If you
yeah.
want us to
It's not.
really rock it, like get some good tees.
Put some,
I mean, we represent your brand. Like who?
yeah,
Like it's another agency here, Flint Registry. I just started rocking with them, right? Just start rocking with them. But
okay.
they hoodie is
Really?
fire, and I rock it all the time, right? And it's about registering people and all that. But the hoodie is fire, and it's
Yeah.
black. So I'm like, oh yeah, I'm rocking
Yeah,
this.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, I say the nonprofits, man. Purchase merch when you talk about investing in people. Invest in people with your merch as well, because you know what? One of the things you don't want to do is have them just only wearing the t-shirt or using the t-shirt as a rag. So I got that. So Sean, real quick, man, tell the folks where they can get the t-shirt that you rocking right now. Where can they get
Involve,
it?
Involve
Wow.
Dad. Yeah,
Yeah,
involvedad.org, man. Go to the website, man. You can cop the book too. We still got
yeah,
the boxes. We just got our boxes in, man. They was back order. People have bought the whole, fatherhood box, and so the stuff
okay,
is finally in, so we can ship out the
okay,
waters and all of that type of stuff.
okay.
But yeah, man, you can go to the website and buy the merch there, and all 100% of the proceeds go to the agency to further to do the work that we do.
Man, man, man. Well, brother, listen, as always,
Yeah,
it's
man,
good, man. Good catching up with you.
all
And
day,
I'll see
man.
you.
Let's see next week, baby.
All right.